Do you believe that we're living in the last days or the last seconds of the last days? I personally do. And now I understand that there are other people out there who would disagree with that statement, but in this video, we're going to be talking about some things that seem to be directly related to end times events. And again, this is just my opinion, but this is just how I see it. And this is just, it seems like the writing is on the wall. So let's go ahead and check this article out that was just posted a couple days ago. But in this article, it was posted by the European Commission on X, and they say digital power is geopolitical power, and Europe is ready to lead. We've launched the EU's International Digital Strategy, a new plan to boost global cooperation while staying competitive in AI and key technologies. Now, this is interesting. You got a lot of key words here to pay attention to. First off, digital. Then you have Europe, and Europe is saying that they are the ones ready to lead. That is fascinating. They just launched what they refer to as the International Digital Strategy. So the International Digital Strategy, they just launched it. Congratulations, good job. This is fascinating though, because what you see here is they are saying that they are ready to lead, and you're seeing global and digital being attached to Europe, trying to say that we will be a leader here in this arena. Now, in an article on this, they use phrases like, hey, we're going to enhance global digital governance, which sounds terrifying. And then they also say things like this, hey, there's going to be a digital age. They're just going to have to make the rules for this digital age. And so they are acknowledging what we all probably are familiar with, that there is going to be a digital age that is coming. And that is very biblical, because you understand that during the tribulation, people are not going to be able to buy or sell unless they get the mark of the beast, which means that there's going to have to be some kind of system that is different than what we have right now. Because if you go out and spend some money right now, nobody knows what you spend it on because you gave them a $100 bill. And so that is important to pay attention to when you are thinking about the digital age and the end times kind of conversation. And speaking about finances, that is something that they are also going to be addressing with this new system that they just launched. Within this new system, they are going to focus on the following priorities. And some of the things that I thought was interesting was highlighted down here. They're going to be focusing on emerging technologies such as AI, 5G, 6G, and quantum technologies. There's also, again, that mention of digital governance. Crazy. So how does this connect to the Bible? Well, let's go back to here where it says Europe is ready to lead. Europe is ready to lead. Out of all the countries out there, we are seeing that Europe is saying that they are ready to lead. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me from a biblical point of view. And the reason why this is mind-blowing to me is because of what's going on in Daniel chapter 7. Now, if you read this chapter, you'll see that there are 4 different beasts that Daniel sees emerging, but the 4th beast is the one that we're going to be paying attention to, the 4th beast. And he goes on and he describes this 4th beast, and it's different than all the other beasts, and so that's important to understand. But the thing I want you to recognize is that on this 4th beast, there are 10 horns, and the 10 horns are really, really significant. They represent 10 kings that are going to emerge during the end times, and these 10 kings are basically going to have the authority on the earth for the first 3.5 years. But then as you continue reading in verse 8, you get a little bit more information, because Daniel's like, I was considering the horns, the 10 kings, and there was another horn, and a little one coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. This little horn right here is talking about the Antichrist. And so when you see down here where this Antichrist, so you have 10 kings, and there's going to be a little horn, and the little horn rises up, and he is going to subdue 3 of the first horns were plucked up by the roots. So this Antichrist is basically going to allow, or not going to allow, but he's going to basically still be on the ground during the first 3.5 years. He's just not going to be revealed. But the 10 kings, the 10 horns, they will be in power. And what's interesting about what they are or who they are is where they will be in power from, geographically speaking. And so this 4th beast is talking about the Roman Empire. Now, the Roman Empire is Europe. And that is why when you go back to that post that we just got done talking about, this is where you see Europe is ready to lead. This is where this is crazy to me. And so out of all the countries, guys, out of all the countries who say that they are ready to lead, it's Europe. Now that's fascinating to me just because of what you see in Daniel chapter 7, where these 10 kings are going to emerge. They are going to be given authority over the earth for the first 3.5 years. And then after the first 3.5 years of the tribulation, after the first 3.5 years are done, the Antichrist is going to emerge, the little horn is going to emerge, and he is going to subdue 3 of the kings, and then he himself will be the 8th. That's Revelation chapter 17. And so you have him basically taking the reins of the beast. And so he is going to be in control of it all for the remaining 3.5 years of the tribulation, which is referred to as the Great Tribulation. And in Revelation chapter 13, we see that he has authority, the beast, the Antichrist, has authority on the earth for 3.5 years. And so it's remarkable seeing how all of this kind of stuff is just so happening. How come it doesn't say, how come it's not America? How come America is not ready to lead? Doesn't that seem to be a little bit more logical? How come not Russia? How come not China? Why is it Europe? Well, it seems to be Europe because that seems to be how the Bible predicted it to be. And who would have thought? It seems like it's coming true. We are watching this happen and unfold right in front of our eyes. How incredible is that? Now, obviously, I could be wrong on all of this kind of stuff. Maybe the end days are another 1,000 years away from where we are today. It's a possibility, I suppose, but I don't see it that way just because there's not enough time. Everything is happening so quickly. You're seeing riots all over the place, earthquakes all over the place, volcanoes. You're seeing disaster, anarchy all over the place. You're seeing everything that seemed to be stable becoming unstable, and it is just so provocative. And so when you put all the things that are happening in the world across the globe, it's not just in one place. And then when you factor in Israel on top of that, with all the things happening around Israel, guys, this is just unreal, the things that we are seeing right now. It is like everything is, the news is traveling instant. It's instant. You and I can know what's going to happen across the world. You know, we're all paying attention to what's going to happen with Israel and Iran. My point is to see that like this age that we're living in is so unlike any other age that has ever existed before. And so if you were to rewind 50 years and talk about the things that we're living in right now, if you told somebody that 50 years ago, they would think you are crazy. But everything is rapidly advancing. The new AI, the stuff that's just coming out, is going to be the old AI here in another month because there's going to be another model. It's going to be better. It's going to be faster. It's going to be smaller. And then another month later, and then another one's going to come out that's better and faster and stronger, and then so on and so forth. It is not like this. It is exponential. It is going to the moon with this kind of stuff. And so when you see this and you recognize and you see the writing on the wall, you are just like, holy smokes. This could be it. And if I'm wrong, there's nothing wrong with that because, you know, I'm still going to be telling people about Jesus. I had the opportunity to do that today, actually, which I was pumped about. But that's what we need to be doing, guys. We need to be telling people about Jesus, how to know for sure that they can get to heaven because we are down on a rescue mission here. And so hopefully you are doing that. And if you are, praise God, because that is super encouraging. And we want to stir one another up even more so as we see the day approaching. And it sure seems like we are seeing that day approach.